I'm a 40-year-old man married to my 38-year-old wife for a decade. We have 2 children, a 16-year-old son from her previous marriage, whom I've raised as my own, and a 7-year-old daughter we share. My wife has been a stay-at-home mom since our daughter's birth, while I've been the primary breadwinner. I thought our marriage was solid until a recent incident turned everything upside down. My wife was previously married to John, 41, the father of my stepson. They divorced after she discovered his infidelity twice, and she always assured me she was completely over him, limiting contact to co-parenting. They maintained a polite relationship for their son's sake, with John living 30 minutes away and seeing him some weekends. I tried not to let jealousy creep in, but small things, like her keeping old photos with John or mentioning past memories, occasionally unsettled me. She always reassured me it was nothing, and I trusted her. Last weekend, with the kids at my parents' for a sleepover, we planned a rare evening alone. As we settled in for a movie, my wife received a distressing call. Her face drained of color and she began sobbing, saying things like, "Oh no, when? Which hospital? Will he be okay?" After hanging up, she revealed that John had been in a severe car accident and was in critical condition. I was stunned and sympathetic, but before I could process, she insisted we rush to the hospital immediately. She was frantic, grabbing her things and pleading for me to drive her. Her urgency to be by her ex's side threw me off. I pointed out that our son was safe with my parents, unaware of the situation, and that John's family would likely be there. I questioned why she needed to go so desperately. She kept saying she'd never forgive herself if she didn't, and that I didn't get it. I told her I was uncomfortable with her dropping everything for her ex, raising my voice to say he's her ex for a reason, and I'm her husband now. She called me jealous, insisting it was about a life-or-death matter, not feelings. The argument escalated. She was hysterical, begging me to drive, but I refused, feeling it crossed a boundary. Her car was in the shop, and I wasn't letting her take mine in her state. Finally, she declared she'd find another way. She called her best friend, 38, who agreed to pick her up. I stood silently as she sobbed on the phone. Before her friend arrived, she looked at me with anger and pain, saying, "I'm going with or without you." I snapped back, "Do what you want." When her friend arrived, she left for the hospital around 9 p.m. I was left in our living room, furious and heartbroken. I couldn't believe she prioritized her ex over my clear objections. In that moment, I felt our marriage was over. I packed a bag, wrote a brief note saying, "You can have him now," left it on the counter, and drove to my parents' house, where I crashed in their guest room without waking them. By morning, my phone was flooded with missed calls and texts from my wife, some asking where I was, others calling me a jerk for overreacting. She said I'd abandoned her and embarrassed her in front of her friend. She confirmed John was alive, in surgery or ICU. I only texted back that the kids and I were safe, needing space to process. To me, she shattered our marriage by choosing John. Her insistence that I'm unreasonable doesn't sway me. I feel I reacted to a profound betrayal, not jealousy. Still, I'm torn up and questioning if I'm too blind to see clearly. Am I wrong for refusing to drive her to see her ex and leaving after she went anyway? Additional context. Some asked why I reacted so strongly. Their marriage ended due to John's cheating, and she swore she wanted minimal contact beyond co-parenting. Her sobbing rush to his side felt like a betrayal, especially given our agreement early in our marriage. No last-minute emergencies involving exes unless it directly concerned our son. 6 months ago, I found late-night texts between them reminiscing about old times, not flirty but unsettling. We fought, she apologized, and promised to keep it strictly about their son. This incident felt like a violation of that promise. Also, when I had a minor motorcycle accident last year, she was supportive but not frantic like she was for John. That contrast hit hard. Update 1. It's been 2 days since the incident. I'm still at my parents' with the kids, avoiding our home. My wife and I have only texted or had brief calls. She's been at home or the hospital, where John remains in a coma post-surgery. She told our son about his dad's accident, and he's devastated. She took him to the hospital with her dad for support, as I declined to join, unwilling to play family after her actions. Our daughter, unaware of our conflict, thinks we're just visiting grandparents. My stepson splits time between his mom and her parents. I've checked in with him via text, keeping it light, knowing he's processing his dad's condition. My wife's texts alternate between apologies and accusations. She says she was in panic mode, acting out of compassion for John as our son's father, not romance. She claims I overreacted by leaving that note. She's pushed for counseling or a face-to-face talk, but I'm not ready, agreeing only to meet later this week. My parents support me, though my dad advises hearing her out. My in-laws are furious, especially my father-in-law, who berated me until I hung up. Her friend said my wife was a mess that night and urged me to talk before deciding anything final. I'm not sure about divorce yet. 2 days ago, I was ready to file, even consulting a lawyer friend about alimony and custody. As the sole earner, I'd owe significant support in our no-fault state. I haven't filed but moved some savings to a new account as a precaution, leaving enough for bills. I'm hurt and don't know if I can trust her again, but I'll hear her out before deciding. Update 2. A week later, I met my wife at our house for a long, emotional talk. She was visibly exhausted, crying, and apologetic, saying she panicked about John's possible death and acted on instinct, not to hurt me. I explained how her actions felt like a betrayal, prioritizing her ex over our marriage. She insisted it was about our son and compassion, not love, and admitted she didn't consider my feelings that night. She regretted not calling me from the hospital. When I asked if she'd change her actions, she hesitated, then said she'd still have gone, which stung deeply. I countered that I'd expect her by my side, not an ex's, in a crisis. The talk grew heated and we paused to calm down. Nothing was resolved. She begged me to come home, even to a separate room, and try counseling. I said I needed time and wasn't ready to return. I agreed not to rush into divorce and to possibly talk again. I took more belongings and left, both of us drained. She's still visiting John daily, which bothers me, but we're separated, so I haven't interfered. The kids sense tension but don't know details. I'm trying to keep things stable for them while I figure out my next steps. Update 3. Weeks later, John passed away without waking from his coma. My wife and son were at the hospital with his family when it happened. She called me, sobbing, and I offered condolences, especially for our son's loss. I chose not to attend the funeral to avoid tension, and my wife and her dad took our son. I stayed with our daughter, keeping things calm. My stepson's struggling, but we've talked, and I'm supporting him as much as he'll let me. My wife's been grieving, and I gave her space during this time. My parents urged me to go easy on her, and I held off on divorce talk until after the funeral. In a recent conversation, I told her I couldn't see a future together. The hospital incident broke my trust irreparably. She pleaded for a chance, but I was firm. I filed for divorce and she was served. She showed up at my parents in tears, begging me to reconsider, but I stood my ground. She later warned she wouldn't make it easy, and our communication is now mostly through lawyers. The kids stay with her in our house, and I'm at my parents', covering bills to keep their lives stable. I'm looking for a rental to have the kids over soon. Our daughter will split time, and I've told my stepson I'm here for him, planning a fishing trip to stay connected. I'm bracing for a tough legal process but want to keep things fair for the kids' sake. Update 4. 6 months later, the divorce is finalized. We sold the house, split the proceeds, and both moved to new homes nearby. I'm in a 3-bedroom rental and she's in a house with the kids. We settled without a bitter fight. I'm paying spousal and child support, and we have joint custody of our daughter with a schedule that works for her routine. My ex-wife is managing, having started a part-time job which seems to help her. We communicate civilly about the kids. I'm at peace with my decision. The trust was broken and I couldn't move past it. I focus on being a great dad, cherishing time with our daughter. My stepson and I remain close, and he's called me his only dad now, which means a lot. We hang out regularly and he's planning for college. My ex and stepson are in therapy, as am I, which has helped me let go of anger. We're not friends, but we're cooperative for the kids. My in-laws and I are polite but distant, thanks to those who offered perspectives. It helped me process and make the choice that felt right. I'm sad it ended, but relieved to move forward, focusing on my kids and a stable future.